Hey, gun people. It's a follow-up. If you remember, I did a video where a lieutenant stuck his nose in a drug case and there was an undercover officer in the car. Lieutenant came up, stuck his nose in it, and ended up shooting the undercover officer when he yelled gun. And I think the officer that ended up getting shot got a $6 million settlement or something. But here's a follow-up on that shooting.
It's horrific to watch.
Gun!
Albuquerque Police Lieutenant Greg Brackle shooting one of his own.
Oh, that was Jacob!
Intense moments to what should have been a routine drug bust. Watch just minutes earlier.
Bad signal.
That's when Brackle moves in. He speeds through this McDonald's parking lot, gets out,
Hands up!
approaches the vehicle when all of a sudden,
Gun!
Brackle fires several times before retreating behind a nearby vehicle. It takes him a few seconds to realize what he's done.
Oh, that was Jacob! Come to me! Are you okay? No. Come on out, dude! Come on, I'm sorry, man! I didn't know it was you! Come here! Come here, Jacob! Jacob is shot!
Brackle is in complete shock. You hear him crying as he pulls Jacob out of the car and tells him to hold on.
This is what happened when officers just jump in and get involved. The guys who were doing this stop, they knew they had an undercover. When an undercover's in a car on a buy and they're going to do a stop, they realize that. It's a briefing. They know that he's in there and he's probably armed. This lieutenant comes over and sticks his nose in it because he's a lieutenant and thinks he knows best. Ends up shooting and almost killing this dude. He ends up getting a retirement. Meanwhile, the taxpayers have to pick up a $6 million settlement because one government official killed another government official and the taxpayers get screwed.
Jacob, are you there, man?
You're good.
Jacob!
Get one of them.
Jacob!
Investigators say Brackle never attended the briefing for this operation. Grant was shot 8 times, bullets hitting most of his vital organs. Several surgeries later, and he is still recovering from his injury.
The guy that got shot was white. Black dude had his hands up, didn't get shot. This doesn't usually fit the narrative. Why the hell do cops have masks on? Why are the cops masked? This is a bad precedent that is being set.
Jacob, man, hang in there, bro! I thought you were a bad guy!
Well, let's start with Detective Grant. He survived. He was critically injured. He has had multiple surgeries. He is still physically recovering at home. Now, he sued the city following this incident. This all happened back in January of 2015, but we just are getting this video, which is why it's making news today. And just this week, there was a settlement reached in that civil suit, $6.5 million awarded to Detective Grant. The city also agreeing to pay all of his medical bills for the rest of his life.
$6.5 million, all medical bills the rest of his life. Why? Because government, who had backgrounds, who were constantly told that if we give them the guns, they'll protect us because they have training, they have backgrounds. Government wants to know who has guns. Only they can approve them. Well, they approved this lieutenant and a cop to have a gun. They end up shooting each other, and it costs the damn taxpayers $6.5 million in free medical for your life. And there's still idiots running around saying, if only government had all the guns, they could keep us safe. Really? I think you're an idiot.
And he has been approved now to medically retire from the Albuquerque Police Department.
Oh, not only does he get $6.5 million, because he's medically retired, he gets tax-free his salary for the rest of his life.
As for Lieutenant Brackle, he too has retired. There was an investigation done by a citizen police oversight agency who had recommended that Lieutenant Brackle be fired, but by the time that recommendation came down, he had already retired.
Gee, you think anybody told a lieutenant, dude, if you don't retire, we're going to fire you? You think that might have happened?
There is still a criminal open case here, though. The investigation just wrapped up and has been now handed over to the prosecutor's office, who will ultimately determine whether Lieutenant Brackle faces any criminal charges.
Oh, please. Does anybody think this lieutenant's going to be charged criminally? Cops are shooting people all the time. They're not charged. You got cops shooting each other and you think they're going to charge? Come on. All right, that's a follow-up to the case. We'll end that there.